Hey everyone, it's Jeannie. Today I'm doing something a little different and sharing almost the entire Trinity Stamps release plus some cards using them. As a disclaimer, I am on the design team and was sent products to create cards, but I'm not required to create this video. But I thought that because I was creating with almost all the stamp sets and dies, it'd be nice to share card examples using the sets so you can see if you want them and what you can do with them. I'll be starting out with the new stamp sets, and I'll be kicking it off with the smaller stamp sets, which are the 3x4 or 4x4 sets. So Trinity Stamps has a line of gnome images, and there are 5 in this release. The first one is the Comfort and Joy, and this is what I created using it. It's so cute. It's just holding a little candle. Next is From Our Gnome to Yours, which is a little girl gnome watering a poinsettia. And I created this really fun card. This is one of my favorite cards that I had created for this release. The next one is Let Your Light Shine, which is a little gnome holding a lantern, and I actually shared this in the video hop today. It lights up, so if you're interested in seeing it, hop on over. This is Gnome for the Holidays, which is a cute gnome in a car, and I actually created a couple cards. This is the first one where I kind of did a monochromatic card, and then the second one, which is a more colorful scene card. This is called Holiday Tweets, and it's really cute. It has these 2 little birds along with a gnome that is dressed up as a Christmas tree. Trinity also has a line of large fun sentiment sayings, and there are 2. This is Jingle All the Way. I created 2 cards using this, and it's a large sentiment on an A2 card that fills up almost the entire card panel. Merry and Bright is the second one, and it is a Christmas tree, which has the large sentiments. I also did similar metallic coloring on dark cardstock. The rest of the smaller sets are Shake Your Merrymaker, which is so hilarious. It's this Santa who's dancing with a disco ball, and I'll have a video for this card later on as well. This is called No Place Like Home, and it's a large sentiment, which I used on the slimline card panel, and you can use it for many other cards as well. So last year's Black Friday free with purchase set is making its debut in the shop, and I'll be inserting the card that I had created with it. It's called Snow Mole-bile. Everyone loves a punny stamp set. So moving on to the 4x6 and 4x8 stamp sets, we first have Adore, which is a large sentiment with stars and a manger. I did a really quick watercolor background and just heat embossed the sentiment, and it makes for a very easy A2 card. The next one is called Tree-mendous Christmas, which is completely adorable. It's just a ton of animals as a tree shaped, and you can even replace that star with a few balloons and make it into a slimline birthday card. So this is Winter Burrow, which is an add-on to the Bunny Burrow stamp set, and I created this a slimline shaker card, which I also have a video coming out next week for. Next is the Cottage Kitchen and the Cozy Christmas Cottage, and this is actually an add-on to the Cozy Bear stamp set that was released last month. I used images from both these stamp sets to create this pop-up card that kind of puts a little happy family inside their living room with the fireplace and the tons of presents. So I thought that was really cute. Last release, Trinity released a couple of slimline stamps, and there are 2 in this release. This is called All Spruced Up. I used the main stamp image for this card background, and you can use it so many ways. It doesn't even have to be Christmas. I also pulled that poinsettia that is part of the standalone stamps to create that frame for that gnome card. The last slimline stamp set is called Christmas Magic that has Santa, sleigh, and the reindeers. I heat embossed that on a piece of watercolor paper, heat embossed the stars and snowflakes, and just added a ton of stars behind it. There's also a bunch of dies in this release, including sentiments, interactive, building. For the sentiment sets, we're going to start off with Scripty Christmas, which is this Merry Christmas sentiment. It has the shadow and the lettering, and it can fill up a slimline card, or you can stack it for an A2 card. Next up is the We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which is shaped like a little tree. So you can use it standalone, or you can create this tree that I have on this slimline card. The last sentiment die is the scripty holidays, which says happy holidays, and I have it on this cute colorful gnome card. We have a couple of dies for shapes. The first one is called Sweet Holiday Wishes that have a candy cane and some candies and also a tree. So I created a card using everything in this set except for the tree and just created a background and then put the sentiment on a piece of vellum. Next up is bunch of bows. So you can cut out a 3D bow or a flat bow and you can die inlay it, but I chose to do the 3D bow because it's just super cute. It adds the dimension to the card, and of course mailing this might be a little troublesome, so I would suggest just giving it to a person. For some of the building sets, we have the Happy Snowman. So you can build a snowman in a stack of 3 snowballs or 2 snowballs. And I think this is super adorable. I just created both an A2 and a slimline card because you can fit them on there. And I think he looks so happy. Next up is one of my favorites. I didn't think it would be, but it's Happy Little Tree Farm, and it cuts out a ton of little Christmas trees. This one is so happy, and I created a little tree farm. I actually put glitter all over it, so this card is super duper shiny. I also added glossy accents on the ornaments that I cut out of different cardstocks, and I thought it was so fun. But for a more non-Christmas card, I just cut out the trees and created a simple card with it. Next up, we have some scene builders. This is called Slimline Hip to Be Square, and I used it as a window panel. So you're looking at the window and you see Santa's sled. I thought that it was really cute. I just added a bit of wood grain pattern using some Copic markers, and I thought it turned out really well. So there's also the slimline staggered rectangles, which I used only 3 of those windows for the top of this slimline card. I thought it was really cute. In this card, it also showcases the slimline rooftop border. Of course, you can use it as intended along the bottom of a horizontal slimline card, but I wanted to show you that you can use it for a vertical slimline or an A2 card as well. We also have 3 interactive die sets in this new release. First, we have the Slimline Wide Pop-Out Box die set, and this creates the pop-up box that I used for the Cozy Cottage set, and it has all the pieces for the base as well as the decorative parts, and it has a large back panel as well if you want the back panel to stand up. If you don't, you can just use the decorative pieces to fold it down. Of course, this folds flat into a slimline envelope. As you can see, it's almost the same size as a normal 3.5 by 8.5 slimline card. It's just a little shorter. This is the Slimline Surprise die set. It has everything you need to create a pull-up card. It also has 2 dies which you can create a perforation so you can have your recipient rip off the strip to open the card if you wish. So for the pull-up portion of the card, I am just pulling on the top tag area and revealing a hidden message underneath, and to close it you just push it back down. So this is a simple pull-up card but in the slimline version. The last interactive die of this new release is called the Slimline Twist and Slide Interactive. So there's actually 2 different interactive elements in this card. First are the slider channels that are normal sliders, and you just can use it on the slimline card. Otherwise, it has a slimline twist, which kind of twists your items so they can kind of dance. I used it for the little tree farm card, and I have the top portion of the tree moving their heads, and I think that that is super adorable. Lastly, we have a set that you can do some stitching on, and this cozy actually fits on a regular coffee cup. But I didn't have time to create too many cards using this die, but I did create one using the pumpkin dies, and I cut them out and I stitched orange thread on it, and I thought that it just adds to the effect and the texture. I popped up some of the pumpkins on foam, and I really liked how it looks. Finally, there are 5 new stencils, 3 layering and 2 foundation. First is the slimline bunting and light stencil, which has two stencils. You can create a banner using the bunting stencil, and you can use different colors like I did for the background of this particular card. This one has the little lines for the banners to hang on, and you'll also use the line at the top of the stencil for the second stencil, which is the lights. These create Christmas lights as shown on my slimline card. I just did one line of lights all across, and I used different colors for each of the lights. You will create the light holder, the light, and you can also add in an accent. You can use glitter, or you can use it as like a white highlight for the lights, which is really cool. Next up is the slimline snowfall. This also has two stencils in it, and you can layer it on top of each other to create a very snowy effect. I mainly use these one at a time just because I don't like the look of too much snow. I kind of like the loose look of it. I used it for the snowman. I actually used some watermark ink, and I heat embossed some puffy white embossing powder to create the snowy effect. But I really like this one just because you can create so many scenes with it. Next up is called the Tree of Light, and this one is my absolute favorite of the stencils because it creates such a whimsical Christmas tree out of circles. There's two different trees, and you can layer them using different ink colors. You can use the same ink colors if you want. Here I chose to do a rainbow effect of the tree, and then I also used heat embossing for the second layer. I just did some gold heat embossing, and I thought it was really perfect for the card. I used the star for the top of the card, and it just really finished it off. Next up is the A2 foundation stencil. Trinity has other shapes in their collection already, but this is 4 ovals of different shapes that you can use to layer on top of each other, or you can use to mask. So you get both the negative and the positive pieces, so you can help mask off certain areas or color in certain areas. So here I use the negative piece, and here I use the positive piece to mask off and create these two different cards. So I really like these foundation sets because it just helps create cards really easily, and it creates a base for it. So I did something different with the A2 foundation square stencils. This is the same concept. There are 4 negative pieces and 4 positive pieces in this set. And here I just actually used the stencil to create a pattern for my background. So I previously showed this gnome card, and this is how I created it. I just used the stencils, all 4 different shapes, added some inks on top, and created that fun colorful background. There are 2 slimline paper pads that are part of this release as well that I don't have, but they look gorgeous, so I inserted a photo of them. That's it for this Trinity Stamps October release. I know it was a big one, but this is the last release for Trinity in 2020, which is crazy. This year has gone by, but it's also been really slow as well. But I'll have every product linked down below in the description box in the order I showed them. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments. If you saw some cards that you were interested in how I created them, let me know, and I'll see if I can pull together a video for you. Since this is the first release video I've done, tell me if you found it helpful or not. By creating this video, I hope to give you an idea of what you could create before deciding to make a purchase. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Have a great day. Bye.